Darren, thank you very much. You know, this is very rewarding, and in fact, I didn't realize how many people would be here tonight, and I got a bunch of these, and there aren't enough for everybody, but you can go to my website, www.delegatebob.com, real simple, delegatebob.com, scroll down, and you can get this Q&A as a PDF file to pass to your friends through your email networks, and I urge you to do this, because this is going to be won by that kind of effort. We are verbal animals, and a lot of people maybe are too verbal, they talk too much, but if you think back to our history and prehistory, what was the first task that Adam was asked to do? Name things. He named everyone. He named everybody, and then there was still somebody missing, okay? A woman was missing. But Adam was given the power to name, which is why the ancient Jews did not have a name for God, for the Creator, because to name something meant you had power over it. And it would be the complete act of hubris to suggest a human being, a creator, could have power over the Creator. So how we frame this question is very important. For example, if you all didn't know anything about history, and I said there were a bunch of people in 1776 just doing things in the United States, and frankly, they were revolting, you might think, what is he talking about? But if I said there were American revolutionaries defending their freedom, you'd have a different idea. Revolutionaries are revolting, but they're not revolting in the mean sense. How do we approach this? You have to ask questions first. The Obama administration is attempting, in both the House and Senate bills, to require individuals and businesses, for the first time in American history, that's not my conclusion, that's the conclusion of the Congressional Budget Office, staffers who work for members of Congress. It's the conclusion of the Congressional Research Service, staffers who work for Congress. They're attempting to compel the purchase of a private good which is heavily regulated, or which will be heavily regulated, insurance. This has never been done. It means it's unprecedented. In 220 years, if you haven't done this, you have to ask yourself the question, there's a reason why Congress haven't done it. We've done everything. We've succeeded, okay, from the union. We've done everything, but they've never done this. Why? Probably because they don't have the power to do that. But they want the goal to do it anyway. They're not worried about the Constitution. I'll give you a summary of a conversation that I had with a United States Senator that was witnessed by my son. And we had about a 10-minute conversation. At the end of this conversation, the senator said, Bob, you probably are right. We don't have the authority to impose mandates, but that's not my main concern. I thought, oh. You take an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution, and an oath is a swearing before God, the Creator that sustains you in existence every moment of your life, that you will do or not do certain things, but that's not your main concern. I said, all right, it's not your main concern. He was concerned about cost, and I said, I'm glad you're concerned about that, but it was very disturbing to me that the formal compact between leaders and citizens was not his main concern. Those are the rules, they are the ground rules, they are the goals that you put in there that I don't devise. You do it. It's the compact that I have to keep with you. And if I don't do that and just give you orders, this is now no longer a government with a social compact with the Constitution mediating the arrangements in the pursuit of the common good. It's a government of status. I'm the leader, you're the serf. You do what I say. Just like what that young lady was talking about in Poland before the Pope and Ronald Reagan came to change things a bit. You have got to restore this government of a social compact. Not a government of status, but a government of a social compact via the U.S. Constitution, which means you have to read it, something that members of Congress probably have not done ever, or at least a number of them haven't done it. So this fight in Washington, I'm going to suggest to you, is not a fight over health care. It's not a fight over insurance. It's not even a fight over paying back supporters for Obama. It's a fight over whether you will remain citizens, free, and self-determining, or whether you will become serfs. That's the question. Now, you've got to ask your representatives, your member of the House of Delegates, your member of the state Senate, do you think it should be a criminal act if I don't want to buy health insurance? And stop. Don't make an assertion, put a question. Why do I do that? What did God ask Cain? Where's your brother? What's going on? He knew the answer, but he said, where's your brother? Now, this is not a tactic or technique that I've developed, so obviously, but use it. You ask the question, you're forcing the delegate or senator to either agree with you or to ask you a question back or mumble. And if they mumble, they're lost because you're going to have answers because you can download this and you can read this. It's not that long. So you've got to ask the question, do you think somebody should be put in jail for not buying insurance? And if, like the U.S. Senator says, well, we make you buy car insurance, say, yes, that's correct. But what if I don't have a car? Do I have to buy car insurance? And you're only making me buy car insurance if I'm driving on a public road. If I have a farm, want to drive 120 miles an hour without a seatbelt or a helmet, I can do it. I can take a bus. I can take a cab. I can walk. I can ride a bike. Moreover, the insurance that you're compelled to buy is not for yourself. It's liability for a third party whom you may injure. It has nothing to do with you, okay? Totally different circumstance. If you talk about the military draft, this is compulsion. There is a reference in the U.S. Constitution to raising of armies, and hence the authority for raising armies. All these things can be gotten rid of. But you are here as a free citizen. You've got to ask the question, should I be put in jail because I don't want to buy the kind of insurance that Obama says I have to buy? I may not need, I may not want, I may find morally repugnant. And I told Senator Warner, I said, you know, there's a lot of people like myself who find great problems with legal abortion. And it is very imprudent of you to suggest that I am going to participate in this through the insurance system. Because when you do that, you are compelling my conscience to have a war with you. And I've got to ask myself a question, what allegiance do I have to these people? Why should I sacrifice? Why should I do anything if they're willing to invade my inner sanctum, my conscience? I said, you better rethink this, because there's a lot of people like Bob Marshall who are not going to tolerate this. If you go back and read the 9th and 10th Amendments, it talks about the powers not granted. We didn't give rights to the, and it's not the federal government. Let's go back to this naming thing. It was the national legislature that our founders talked about. Why? Because the federal government was the relationship between the states and the national government. It was the relationship we have slipped into ever since Roosevelt calling those people in Washington the federal government. It's a federal system. It's not the federal government. It's a national government, a national legislature, but a federal system. So when you think about that, the 9th and 10th Amendment says the powers not delegate, powers not rights, not delegated or reserved to the people or to the states respectively. We didn't give this to you. Tell me where you can find this. I don't, you know, this is a hunt and find contest. You can't do it. They need, you need to ask them the questions. Go back and look at the wording of this House Bill 10, very simple. There are phrases in here from the U.S. Constitution, which even in the constrained uses of the Supreme Court still can tilt in our direction. Because what the Congress wants to do is not regulate commerce or the effects of commerce. They want to regulate the complete absence of commerce. I'm not even thinking about a contract. I didn't solicit a contract. I didn't ask for a contract. I didn't write a contract. I didn't sign into a contract. This is commerce? I mean, I do nothing, so it's something. Every cause has an effect. There's no effect, but there's a cause. You cannot think this way. There is a problem with the minds, or what purports to be minds in Washington, D.C., if they can reach this conclusion here. So the wording here says no law may compel you to do this. It doesn't say federal law, it doesn't say state law, it doesn't say county law, which is an ordinance. No law, period. I mean, those of you who have this, I intend to have a confrontation with the Obama administration. I'm not ducking it. I want a head-on fight.